All right, guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Stumblin Forward. And today we're going to be talking all about Kristin Herman and her journey to where she got today. So, hi, Kristin.
Hi, how's everyone doing today? Sorry, that was a weird hi, but hello.
Well, first, let's start off and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, all sorts of good stuff.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Carroll Stream, Illinois, which is pretty much on the outskirts of Chicago. And I started with everything, pretty much knowing that I wanted to be an actress. And so I was doing a lot of theater and I did a lot of music when I was growing up. And I always knew that I wanted to do something creative or something in entertainment. And I wasn't sure what, but I loved television and movies. So that was my main focus growing up. As I got older, I realized I wanted to really try to pursue the acting career. So I moved to Los Angeles when I was 21. And moving there, I started working at a restaurant and serving and trying to hustle with getting the headshots done and everything. And as I learned a lot when I was in my early 20s and trying to figure out how to live on my own, since that was the first time I ever lived on my own. And I went to a junior college in Illinois for my associates in fine arts, where I got like some schooling in acting and editing just because I wanted to have that under my belt. But I never really thought about being behind the scenes. And so finally, when I was in California, my last year in California, because now I'm in Illinois again, was 2015 or so.
2016, yes. I think. Yeah, 15.
So 15, 16 was my last year, and I met Monica Ortega, and she asked me to come to Costa Rica on a whim to hold the camera. And I was like, heck yes, like this sounds like fun, where I can travel, because I got the travel bug, you could say, where I was like, I need to explore and I need to do something, because I felt like when I first came to Los Angeles, I never really tried anything. Like I didn't go hiking because no one I met was going hiking. I never went camping because no one was going camping, and no one was traveling. Everyone was kind of staying stagnant. And I came to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to explore and expand. So when Monica came up to me and asked me about Costa Rica, I was all for it. And we went and had a great time, and I got to be behind the camera, and I realized that I really enjoyed video and I really enjoyed getting creative with that. And so we kept shooting, and we did a few other episodes together, and she brought me more into like hiking and camping, which was something that I always enjoyed, but I just never met someone who brought me there. And so now, moving forward, I moved back to Illinois because I needed to save some money. It was financially becoming harder in California, and the living situation was difficult. So when I came back to Illinois, I continued to work for Monica, just flying back and forth, but I was also just saving a lot of money. And then this new year, in 2018, I decided to do a internship for Imagination Designers, which was for wedding videography. And that actually started teaching me the technical side of video. So I'm learning about lenses, aperture, ISO, everything that I need to move forward in this career. And that's been extremely helpful. I just had actually an interview today for another job. It's with Brave Productions, and they do even more, where they do commercials, they do weddings, they do concerts. So I actually had like a trial by fire on Saturday, and they threw me into this concert with this amazing show. And it was at Chicago, like wine, wine and vineyards or something. And I did a wedding there a few months ago, and it's a beautiful venue. And they gave me a camera and they just like, let's see what you got. And like, I just shot. And then I had the interview today with the owner, and he's like, you got the job. And
Wait,
so
what?
yeah. So now I'm working for another like production company.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations. I did not know this.
This is all new. Like, I wasn't sure when to tell you, because I was like, I don't know if it's for sure.
On the podcast.
Right? So I had like a new video job, and he's like, we're going to see your footage and then see how much, you'll obviously get paid more as we see your capabilities, because I am brand new. So it's exciting, and it's going to teach me a lot. Like, they have like legit equipment. I was like, okay. He like had this thing where he's like, put this on your shoulder and see how that feels. And I was like, this thing is ginormous. And I was like holding this big camera. I was like, that feels good. And they're like, yeah, wait for 5 hours. You're going to feel really good. So I was like, I'm excited. So that happened. And for the last like month, I've been really motivated to also do my own videos. So I tried I'm beginning to start my own production company, which is called it's called Creative World Productions. And I just created my own logo.
Look at you.
So my logo is up. That's why I was using Squarespace to create my website. So my website has the demo reel on it, and I have to
oh my gosh. All
so
right, this is like, so exciting, guys, because I
don't
know any of this until right now.
Oh so, I mean, that's pretty much what's happening right now. 2019 should be an exciting year.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm going to lose you, aren't I?
No, here's the thing is, like, Monica, you're the one who is the travel. Like, if I have to always be doing weddings and commercials, like, I mean, it's amazing, but I still wanted to get that adventure side out there,
Yeah. No, for sure. But that's great. It's pulling you out of the restaurant and the normal money-making jobs that we all take into something that you love and learning as you go, which, is a little bit more technical than holding my iPhone in Costa Rica. So
right. I told him that today. So, okay, so because like he asked me, he's like, what's your experience? And I'm like, let's start from the beginning. I'm like, so 2 years ago, I was holding an iPhone.
That's so funny.
And like, that was pretty much, I'm like, I got to be really creative with it, but everything was autofocus. Everything is auto white balance. Like, it was very, very basic, but I got to be really creative with everything, which we are. I feel like our videos can get really good shots,
Yeah.
And the editing side, like, I'm hoping that he maybe like trusts me and later, to maybe edit some videos, like do some editing of the weddings or something. We'll see what comes up with that. But I really enjoy editing a lot. And I think I want to take classes for that. But no, I told him, I was like, I know I started out very, very basic, only just 2 years ago, but he told me people go to school for this and then come out of school, and then they don't know anything. Like, they go into the on-set and they're just like still learning, So I think it's fine. Like, you didn't get any degree in video, so.
Well, and that's kind of the whole thing with what makes people different is you have a creative eye and you have a natural ability to it that a lot of people don't, because I was doing the show for 2 years before I met you, asking anybody and everybody to hold that iPhone.
Yeah.
And there's a difference when you can tell that somebody has a different eye and they're getting different shots and they're putting it together in creative ways. And that's something that I don't think you can teach. I mean, you can watch other people's and try to recreate it yourself, but and then there's obviously a love that you have for it that I latched onto as well and went, okay, this is somebody special that I want to keep working on the show and not just somebody to hold my phone. So,
yeah.
So I'm excited that other people are starting to see it as well.
Thank you. I'm very excited. The internship was awesome. Like, I don't know if I'll stick with that company. I'll probably just stick with this company unless they just want me on for random days. The only thing is hard to explain to people is if I am working for them and it's not full time, and only like weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I should keep my restaurant job for now. And then they just have to give me notice of when they need me. So it's still a little difficult, like, because it's basically juggling everything that's happening.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm still excited about it. I just want them to understand, like, restaurants, even though it might sound easy to just get someone to cover, hi Millie, it might get someone to cover. It's not like always possible, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So that's pretty much what's going on as of now. And it's just the whole world of what can I do? I mean, you're the one who inspired me about like basically everything in the last year. You know, you started your own company and you're doing all these things that are just super creative. Like I honestly, like, if you looked at my Instagram from before we met, it's like 4 photos of nothing. And then after, it's just like, it blew up to all these beautiful photos. So, yeah.
Well, sorry, could you hear that?
No.
Oh, I'll have to cut that out. My phone was
it.
ringing like, and it was so loud in mine. I was like, I can't hear it.
I don't think, yeah, if the headphones are on, I don't think we can hear it.
Well, it comes from my computer. Anyway,
okay,
we'll cut that.
Whoopsie.
No, I think that's so important, is to find people that are motivated on their own accord too. And that's what happened with me, is it's like, I got so tired of waiting for agents and managers to hire me, or just hoping an audition would come, and, you know, and so that's why I started creating my own thing. And it sounds like that's kind of what's happening with you as well. And and you have that natural motivation that a lot of people don't, to go ahead and start it. So.
Yeah, I was just talking about that with somebody, I forget who, recently, where it was like, you need to have those people in your life, you know. And that's another thing that I was looking at was I joined a group called the American, let's see, it is the International Association of Women, which is basically just for networking for your own business. And we'll see. I just started it. It's online, and it's just like a monthly membership type thing. And you can just talk to a bunch of women who are also into like in entrepreneurial like ship and stuff like that, and maybe get connections with media, or if I do feel like doing real estate photography, videography, then I can like reach out to real estate agents, stuff like that. So that's something else that I'm trying out. I'll let you guys know if it's beneficial or not.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the journey with any entrepreneurship, is trying a little bit of everything and seeing one, what works, and also what you love, and then find a way to put those two together.
Yes, exactly. There is a lot of routes. Like last time we were talking about getting a career coach, which I do think is beneficial for some, and like what stage you're at when you should get a career coach financially. And like, you know, there are things online. I was reading a lot of blogs about kind of being your own career coach at the moment, and motivating yourself to do things. So that was a lot of things that I was reading. But
I think for sure, like, it gets to a point where you can only do so much research on your own, and you can do a ton. And then when it starts costing you moving forward in your business, because you're spending so much time on that, that's probably the time to start looking at either outsourcing or get somebody to streamline it for you and say, okay, I've got 50 articles and I don't have time, so I need somebody to make sense of this.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're doing all the right stuff. And
maybe I'm honestly like, it's I feel like I'm just guessing. And
well, that's all of us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally just like, I think that will work, you know, like, I don't know. And then, and also it gives me, I don't know, might be just me, or this might happen to everybody, but if I start thinking like, cause I'm 27 and I've never had like someone be like, yeah, I'll pay you $1,000 to do this. And I'd be like, whoa, like, that's crazy. You know, why? You know, like, why would you do that? But no, it's like thinking about someone actually giving me a lump sum of money to do a job that I actually enjoy and love sounds crazy to me. And so it's really now just even like having all the motivation and knowing that like I might be taking the right steps. I still also have the mental side of like being confident. Self-confidence is hard when you're just guessing. And I just want to make sure that like, I just pump myself up and I let myself do the things that I want to do, and also don't sell myself short. Like if I feel like I'm worth a certain amount, then I should, ask for that certain amount. Which is nerve-wracking to me because they could easily just turn and walk away and be like, no, you're not. And then I have to deal with that,
There is a lot of rejection in it, but I think you have to know your worth, because if you say, anybody just give me money, then you're going to end up selling yourself so short. And you have to know that you bring something different to the table that's worth being paid that amount, because otherwise, if you just try to charge the least amount of possible, they're just going to price shop and go with whoever. But if you know that you bring something different and special, then you need to own that. And you do.
Thanks. But that's something that I'm challenging myself with and making sure that I'm staying calm with. It's like knowing that if it does come to the point where I have a client that wants to pay me that much money, I should not be like, are you sure you want to give me that? Like, are you sure?
Yeah, don't ever do that.
Yeah, are you sure? I've done that at work.
No.
Where I'm like, you don't have to pay me that much money.
What?
I'll do that because I'm like, they're giving me too much money, and then they'll be like, no, you deserve it. And I'm just like, why do I think that that I like deserve? I don't know. I'm trying to get to that point where I'm like, you're right. I do deserve a 50%.
Here is a way that like, I don't remember how it was worded or how I heard this, but somebody said, if somebody tries to give you something, that is them doing something for themselves as well. And you turning that down is actually hurting them as well. So you may think that you're doing it to be good, but in fact, you're kind of hurting their ego because they're trying to do something nice.
Yeah.
So when people do something nice, you should just take it, and it benefits both parties.
Well, also the fact that, I mean, I should cut this part out, but they are drinking. And I'm like, are you sure you want to give me that much?
Take it and run.
Are you sure? You've had 2 tequila shots.
That's why you're a bartender, right? You collect money from the drunk people.
Like I asked for those tequila shots. Right. Forgot about that. Anyway, but it's still a good, it's feeling good lately. I feel it's hard. Also, this is just other things that are just in my head. I love Los Angeles, and I would love to live in Los Angeles again. It just seems like all these opportunities are coming up in Chicago. So it's more of like, where do you have to be, even if it's somewhere you don't technically want to be all the time. It's just more of a financially and career-wise, and it could always expand to like different places and stuff. But that's a struggle for me right now, is to know where I want to live. And it should also be a blessing. I am young and I can honestly live anywhere. Anywhere if I want. So, which is pretty crazy.
Well, and what's great too is if you're getting the experience and you're getting the opportunities in Chicago, you can always come to LA later, because coming here without that stuff, you're fighting literally everybody. This is where everybody is doing that for those opportunities. So if you can get that experience somewhere else and then come, even though I want you here now, that makes sense too. And I get that. Like for me as an actor, I got my SAG card in Tennessee because it was a million times easier than coming out here and trying to do it like every other actor out here. So, there's something to be said for that too. And you got to kind of follow the opportunities, and it doesn't mean you're stuck there or can't change things. It just means good things are happening there.
Yeah, which is crazy. Because I mean, it did take a year, it took a year to like kind of get everything back in order. I was, going through a lot of like anxiety about leaving Los Angeles, feeling kind of like, am I failing at this point? And then once I kind of like gave myself that time to just be and not feel like I had to have everything figured out right away. I think it was like, you know what, I'm just gonna motivate myself to do something else. And if I really want to do this video thing, then I might as well like actually just do an internship, which you know, you don't get paid a lot for internships. It's a sacrifice. And it's hard to explain that to people, especially like your parents who are wondering, you're working a 14-hour day for no money pretty much. And you have to say, honestly, if it's something that I'm wanting to do and that I love to do, I think it's worth it to sacrifice that time. And I'm not one to complain for, you know, a 12-hour day. Like if I'm on the move and I'm learning and I'm doing, you'll never see me being like, can I go home now? Like that's not what's going to happen. You know, I'm going to work hard, even if it is for no money, because I'm not thinking about how much am I getting for this hour? You know, how much am I getting?
Yeah.
You're
Which
just,
also is a testament to how much you love it, because
yeah.
the jobs we hate, we do tend to say, can I go home and how much money am I making?
Right.
So.
Right. And that's, it really does show me like, I'm not in it for, I need the money. I want the money to live and to do what I need to do in life, but it's not something that I'm thinking about when I'm on the job.
Well, in internships, it's easy to think of like value in terms of dollar bills, but you take an internship, think about a college degree, how much that costs and all of the money that you're paying to go and learn these things.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you're
Uh-huh.
saving money. You may not be making it and putting it in the bank, but you're saving so much and getting this like experience. You're building a resume, you're doing all of these other things that are valuable, maybe just not in the monetary sense.
Yeah. And I'm very, very blessed that I don't have a student loan. And it's nothing against people that go to school for it, because I think you do learn a lot. You make lots of connections and you kind of like hit the ground running sometimes, right, when you get out of school. I just think that if I had student loans, I would feel even more pressure with a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I'm just not one to have that. And I do think like, should I go back to school? But I don't know if I want that loan. I don't think I want to do that right now. And I might take a few classes. I signed up for, again, the junior college that's in my area, just see if I want to take some like videography classes or some editing classes. Cause right now for my own personal editing, I'm still using iMovie, which is still a good software. It's very, very user friendly and also extremely limited.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so Final Cut has a lot more to offer. And I might go for another something to edit with and put it on my computer. But, you know, it's all learning experience. It still
Oh,
is.
for sure. And it's going to be for a long time, but it sounds like things are happening. And I always feel like when things start happening in the direction of what you love, you kind of just have to go with it, even if it doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, I don't know about living or what I want to do, or if this is what I want to do forever, but that doesn't really matter. It's like, look, I enjoy this and these opportunities are coming up. Obviously, in my opinion, that's the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, like pushing you in that direction, saying, yes, this is the way to go. And it makes sense. So.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that way, you know, like you just have to, people go to school all the time or stay in jobs that they hate all the time. And I could never.
Oh God, I couldn't do that.
Never do that. I'm like, just quit your job. I'm probably a terrible person.
Well, no, but I think there's something to be said about being happy in life. And like, even you saying leaving LA, you felt like, what if I'm a failure? But there is no failing in that. It's just a transition and it's just something different that's happened. You know, I remember staying in Chicago, hating every day there, hating every moment, but feeling like I can't leave because I'll be a failure. Yeah. And then I thought, this is a failure to who? I'm unhappy. Nobody cares. Like,
right.
You know?
Yeah, I totally forgot about the Chicago thing. That was probably extremely hard because it was your first year.
It was my first year of college. So it's not only like just leaving a city, but I felt like I was leaving my program. I was leaving all of that. But like, I had to come to terms with literally nobody cares what I'm doing in my life. Like, I'm the only one thinking that people are sitting around going, oh God, she's failing. You know, like.
That is a really good point, is just thinking that everybody's watching you and being like, what's happening like with Kristin today? It's
They're
like,
all stuck in their own stuff. Like, we are all stuck in our own stuff.
They're not thinking about like you in that sense. I know that your parents are probably thinking about you like they love you, your siblings or, you know, people around you, but it's not. it's not as severe as our minds make it out to be, you know?
Yeah.
So,
You moved in, like, you know, those of us that care about you here were like, oh, that sucks. And those that didn't were like,
yeah.
bye. And then that was the end of it. Like, we all continued on our life.
Bye. See you later, maybe.
It's not like we all sat around going, God, what a failure. You know, I mean, so I think that's a hard thing for everybody to come to terms with. Like, not just you. I think anytime we make a pivot, we think, oh God, what will people think? But the truth is they don't care.
They don't. I mean, they care, but they don't care. So
well, you have to do what makes you happy at the end of the day.
Yes.
And, you know,
and that's a really big thing is people are like, well, I'm being selfish. It's like, you're really not, you know, I mean, like selfish in the fact that you're making yourself happy. Yes. But it's not like,
I think if people realize that making yourself happy will make everybody around you happy, it's so not selfish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a mom, so I can't speak to this, but a lot of moms are like, oh, I don't have time to take care of myself and take care of the kids. If you take care of yourself and you're happier, your kids will be happier because they see it. Again, I'm not a mom, so I probably shouldn't speak to that. But I think
I'm not a mom either. Yeah. So it's like that's again, like I said, like we're both very blessed that we have the opportunities that we have because we don't have anything tethering us down.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, guys, but
that'd be a different transition. And, you know, I've had friends that have gone through that as well, because I'm a little bit older. So I have friends that have kids.
I'm older.
I actually just had to cough there.
That was a terrible time to cough. Like, I'm older than you.
But no, I've seen people go through those transitions, and I know, you know, the things I want, and eventually I'll go through those transitions too. And I'm sure that'll be a whole different kind of podcast of me breaking down for other reasons.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all about just taking life as it comes, and I think creating what you want. And it sounds like things are on that path for you.
On that path, man.
So what are the best and worst things about all of this happening right now?
Best thing is I feel like I'm moving forward. I'm stumbling forward. Sorry. I feel like I am finding things for myself. That's the best thing is all of that. The hardest thing right now is fighting with my brain that's telling me like, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to go on set and you're going to embarrass yourself because you don't know everything about lenses or everything about like aperture. Because I don't know everything, I'm going to feel very insecure most of the time, like in the beginning. But I was thinking, I'm trying to tell myself that it's the same thing when I worked at a new restaurant. You know, I worked at a new restaurant and the first 2 months I was like dreading going to work because I thought that I would fail. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. This is when I first started like, you know, serving. But it was a big anxiety of mine. And so now that's what's like, I feel like is going to transition into this new job. I don't want to beat myself up for not knowing everything. I want them to understand my level of things. I'm being completely honest and candid. I'm like, I'm starting out. I don't know a lot of stuff. Please teach me anything and everything you want to tell me. Teach me. I'm here to listen, but I don't want to beat myself up if I don't know the answer or if I do make a mistake, you know? So that's the biggest thing that's eating away at me a little bit. So,
well, and just accept that you will make mistakes because everybody does. And that's totally fine. I think you're in a good place though, because you're saying, you know, I don't know this, but I want to learn it. I think the only way that you would really fail at this, if you go in going, I don't know anything, but I'm going to act like I do and not ask for help. You know what I mean? Right. So the fact that, but don't beat yourself up for not being there yet, because everybody had to start at 1 at some point. And you're not starting at 1, you're starting at like 5, but like.
Right. And that's another thing. My mom was like, I don't feel like you're a beginner anymore. And I was like,
it's just different equipment. It's a different level, but it's the same process that you already know.
Yes, exactly. It is the same process. That's one thing that I realized about the shoot on Saturday and all the weddings that I've been doing for the past few months. I'm like, it's pretty much the same thing. Like you are doing, you know, the same thing you would for a wedding or for like this company, you're doing with this company with a different equipment. So they use Panasonic at the wedding videography company, Imagination Designers, and then Brave uses Sony. So it'll be new equipment. and it'll be new
That's
lenses.
great though. You get to learn both.
Right. I'm learning Canon, which is my camera, Panasonic, which is actually a really great, easy to use camera for video. And then I'm using Sony now, which are like legit cameras. And I'm like, what do I do with my life? But, but they're really cool. And they have some amazing stuff. So it's very exciting.
All right. If you could work on one dream project, what would it be?
Right now?
Just ever. What would the big dream be?
Oh God, honestly, I know that with everything, like even if I'm doing small commercial work and just short film stuff, I want to work on a feature length comedy with some like kick-ass, can I say kick-ass? Kick-ass women who in comedy, who I'm like, I know that every day on that set, I'm going to be cracking up and I'm going to have so much fun. Like that's all I want. Like even if I'm the camera girl, if I'm, directing, if I'm on it, if I'm like acting in it, that'd be amazing. It's just, I know I love comedy. And when I work on comedy, I just laugh constantly and it makes me so happy. So that's really, really like what I would want to do.
That's
so
awesome.
Work on some sort of comedic feature film. If Tina Fey wants to be in it, that'd be great.
Hey, are you listening to this podcast?
I
mean, I know it's but
Tina Fey.
What are you gonna do? That's great. And I think one of the biggest things to realize is that you don't have to limit yourself to one thing. It's not like I'm shooting weddings, I guess I'm a wedding videographer, or I'm a travel host, I guess I can only host on travel shows,
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of going, look, I've got this huge amount of talent and goals that are kind of in the back burner for whichever one pops up whenever. And then to have that big goal too of doing comedy, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I'm doing Second City classes. I'm on my last semester in the Chicagoland area. I'm finishing up. My show is on the 15th, if anybody is in Chicago and ever hears this. But again, this is December 15th of 2018.
So if it comes out tomorrow.
The show's tonight. I guess I gotta go. But yeah, so it's exciting because I'm still pursuing like the entertainment side, comedy, and I think I want to still take some acting classes, and I'm never gonna let that go. Just because it makes me happy. If I could do a musical again in my life, oh God, I would love to do a musical again. It's just, again, it's time consuming, but if you want it, you can make it happen. So
I used to want to be Belle more than anything. I'm going to be like Mrs. Potts by the time I finally end up back in a musical.
I was Mrs. Potts, dude. Like, dude. But that's the thing. That's like our character. We can do the accent and we're like super funny. So that's Mrs. Potts. Like,
it's true. Maybe I should have changed my goals.
I did want to be Belle as well, but I was Mrs. Potts. I really liked when I be Rizzo in Grease. So if that ever pops up,
I was Rizzo in Grease. It was my favorite role ever. It was
It'd be so much fun. So that's my life.
Okay, so where can everybody find you? What's your website? Because I obviously need to go check that out right now.
I'm still figuring out the website. So it is Squarespace. So I think that if I finish the URL and get everything down, it is going to be Creative World Productions, or CTW, or CWP, sorry, CWP. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Kristin Herman. I have an acting page that you can like if you would like. And Instagram, which is also Kristin Herman 91, I believe. I'm really bad with Instagram stuff. Thanks, Monica. She helped me a lot. And I don't use Twitter, and I don't.
You're on it. I think I've tagged you in Twitter, so you got 3 followers.
I'm on Twitter. You're welcome to follow me. I think my last post is 8 months ago.
That's right. We'll do an update on where they can find you as things grow, because it does sound like there's going to be new pages coming out. And
yes. And I'm a big fan of Pinterest, like I said, but again, I don't have anything on Pinterest. I just read a lot of blogs on Pinterest. So I'm all over.
You're in the learning process, but we'll definitely do an update and circle back to where they can find you as things get posted.
Oh yeah.
And stuff.
But like me on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook.
She is always on Facebook.
Sorry.
Oh, I am too. I cannot talk.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. It sounds like this is actually a really cool episode too, because it's like legit starting the journey.
This is the exact beginning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sounds like yesterday a lot of stuff changed and things are moving forward. So that's amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It's good. I'm very, very excited, and I'll definitely keep everybody updated. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. You are the epitome of stumbling forward at this point, and we will continue to talk about your journey as you're learning and creating production company and stuff. So
sweet.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Tune in soon and keep stumbling forward.
Talk to you later. My name is Kristin Herman.
And I'm Monica Ortega. Bye.
Bye.